Quiet farmlands of northern France, the ground still bears scars that refuse to heal. Craters, trenches, and broken soil mark the resting place of over 1 million men. This is the Somme. In 1916, these fields witnessed one of the deadliest battles in human history, a battle that promised victory but delivered only suffering. The Battle of the Somme was meant to end the stalemate of the First World War. Instead, it became a symbol of human endurance and unimaginable loss. Over the next 5 minutes, we'll explore the story of the Somme, why it began, how it unfolded, and the legacy it left behind. By 1916, the Great War had become a brutal deadlock. Across Europe, millions of men were trapped in trenches, fighting for inches of ground in a war that seemed to have no end. The French army, bleeding heavily at Verdun, called for relief. In response, the British and French planned a massive joint offensive, a hammer blow that would crush the German lines and break the stalemate. The chosen battlefield lay along the river Somme, a quiet sector of rolling farmland dotted with small villages and gentle ridges. But the calm of that countryside would soon be shattered. In its place would rise a storm of steel, fire, and blood. In late June, preparations reached their peak. For 7 straight days, British and French artillery pounded the German lines. Over 1.5 million shells screamed through the air. The earth shook. The sky flickered red. Men miles away said it felt like the world itself was ending. Commanders believed no German could survive. When the guns fell silent on June 30th, British troops cheered, convinced victory was at hand. But beneath the ground, in deep concrete bunkers, the German army was very much alive, waiting. At 7:30 a.m., whistles blew all along the front. Tens of thousands of British soldiers climbed from their trenches and began walking across no man's land. They were told the German defenses were destroyed. They were wrong. Machine guns opened fire. Whole battalions were cut down in minutes. Men fell in waves, some never even reaching the first line of barbed wire. By nightfall, nearly 60,000 British soldiers were dead, wounded, or missing. 19,000 never came home. The first day of the Somme was the bloodiest in British history. A generation was lost before lunch. Despite the slaughter, the offensive continued. General Douglas Haig ordered fresh attacks. Every hill, every village, every trench became a prize measured in lives. The names of these places, Thiepval, La Boisselle, Mametz Wood, would become symbols of courage and despair. The battlefield turned to chaos. Shell holes filled with mud and bodies. The stench of death clung to the wind. Men fought not for glory, but for survival. As the months dragged on, new machines of war arrived. On September 15, 1916, the British unleashed a secret weapon, the tank. Armored, clanking, and unstoppable, or so they hoped. Most broke down or got stuck in the mud, but a few managed to strike terror into German trenches. Above the battlefield, airplanes circled, spotting enemy positions, guiding artillery, and fighting in the first air duels of history. But no invention could stop the killing. The Somme had become a testing ground, a laboratory of destruction. The soldiers of the Somme lived in a world of mud, blood, and fear. Rats grew fat on the fallen. Rain filled the trenches until they collapsed. Letters home tried to hide the truth, but between the lines, families could read the pain. One young soldier wrote, "We sleep beside the dead and pray that the shells find someone else tonight." And yet in the heart of this inferno, friendship, humor, and bravery never vanished. Men shared jokes, cigarettes, and songs, small acts of defiance against the war that consumed them. By November, the rains came, the trenches flooded, the guns froze, men sank knee-deep in mud that swallowed the dead. After 141 days, the battle finally ended. The Allies had advanced just 6 miles. Over 1 million casualties lay behind them, British, French, and German alike. General Haig called it a success, but history remembers it as something else entirely, a symbol of courage and futility intertwined. Today, the Somme is silent. The guns are gone, but the earth still carries the memory. In fields once torn by fire, rows of white crosses mark where boys became soldiers and soldiers became ghosts. The Thiepval Memorial stands as a monument to the missing, 72,000 names, each one a story cut short. The Somme did not change the map of Europe, but it changed the world's understanding of war and of what humanity can endure. The Battle of the Somme was not just a battle, it was a warning, written in mud, blood, and silence.